Hey. Hello, all, and welcome to another edition of Damage Per Podcast. I am your host, Damage Per Jesse Faden, Jesse,
Jesse Damage.
Jesse Damage. That's my wrestling name. Oh, yeah. Joined today with pop icon Amy Lee.
All right, you
Bitch,
got me on that one.
bitch, you're Amy Lee today.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, Amy Lee's back.
Fuck yeah.
She's anyways, just say hi, bitch. Sorry, I totally it's Mitch
Oh
Reeves,
no, it's
everybody.
okay. Let's go.
Let's
Hello,
go.
folks.
Um yeah, Amy Lee's back in a big way. Although I didn't or I forgot that Evanescence came out with an album a few years ago. It's fine. It's
The last one I listened to had a song called like the Ice Queen or the White Queen or something on it.
I think that's the
And that was
one.
a long time ago, so I
Oh,
don't know if
maybe that's
that's
not it. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not up on my Evanescence
I'm
lore.
not either, and I like them, but it's one of those things.
I really admire Amy Lee. I think she's cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like she could have been in any form of music, and she chose, a badass band. So I
Yeah,
mean, I'm down for that for
goth
sure.
rock. She totally
Yeah,
got
hell
goth
yeah.
rock.
Like she could have done like opera or some shit. Like she has one of those. Her range is crazy. So,
Yeah, she can tickle them ivories, you know.
hmm
She's a very talented individual. Could do anything. So,
she is. She is
wake me up.
bad. Apparently, bad choice in partners,
She's
but talented.
who is the gentleman or gentle lady in which
I don't
she
know. She had that song about call me when you're sober, or don't
Oh
talk to me when
yeah.
you're sober, or something like that about some abusive.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
may have
yeah.
been the wake me up guy. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
Wake me up inside.
hmm The save me guy. Which,
Tell me
that might have
why.
honestly, that could have been him. Like, honestly, like that could have been a cry for help. And then she just
And
dropped
then
a
and then
diss track on him,
yeah.
like right after that.
Yeah, man, it's not good to date people who have that kind of platform.
Right.
You're put on blast for
Yeah.
anything.
Ask Drake about it.
Yeah, that's Drake. And that dude can burn.
They're not even dating. Like,
I know. Kendrick just put him on blast. My
that was
favorite
so
my,
good.
my favorite thing that about the Kendrick thing is like he played the Super Bowl and there was a bunch of people
Yes.
who had no idea who Kendrick was and they were just like,
Yes.
"Who is this guy? He
Yeah.
mumbles a lot."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Oh, I
guys.
heard so
You're not
many.
allowed to talk about Kendrick
You're
anymore."
right. I had so many reactions about worst Super Bowl ever, Super Bowl halftime ever, and stuff like that. But my favorite part was when they were like, because I was like, is he really going to be on what is arguably the biggest stage on earth and still play the Drake diss song? Because he has, in my opinion, has better songs than that. I love
Oh,
that song,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
and I was like, and then I love the fact that he played into it because he started the intro earlier and then stopped it and then played something else. And then it came back around and he had those singers. They're like, is he really gonna do it? And like he just kept starting it. And I was like, I was on the edge of my seat, like, is he? Like and then and then when he did it and he got to the part when he said, hey Drake, he turned around and grinned at the camera. Oh,
Yeah,
so good.
pretty good.
So good.
Love my boy
Yeah,
Kendrick.
but
Right?
yeah,
And
but
also
like
like also feel like if people like really knew about Kendrick and who he was, they just like would be like, "Oh yeah, he's a really great guy. He doesn't party.
mm,
He's really quiet. He just likes his wife." Like
yeah,
of all like the voices who criticize hip hop for being whatever, like
right.
I feel like Kendrick's actually a very good example of how to be a professional musician.
100%. Yep.
Um or lyricist and also like have like
A
a control
lyricist, exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
a controlled personal life,
Right.
you know. But no,
Yep.
but no. Anyway, big week this week, Mitch. We got it's gonna be this it's the Switch 2 week.
It is.
Yeah, Wednesday, the Nintendo Direct. They're gonna be
Oh, direct. I was about to know. I was like,
yeah,
did I miss something?
they're gonna be revealing all the Switch 2 details, baby. So
I
I need to
can't
get
wait. I
this
need one, man, because
because
I'm
yours
I'm still I'm
blew
still
up.
switchless. Yeah.
Your boy's Switchless.
I got nothing but I got stacks of games over here. I can't even play.
Stacks on stacks, homie.
I'm telling you.
Can't play them. Um, so I need to either get this podcast out like immediately or wait till like Thursday or Friday because nobody's gonna care
Mm,
about this podcast on Wednesday. I feel like
that's not true.
oh, I don't know. I feel like Switch 2 and then and then
Well, we're talking about the Switch too, so see, we're ahead of the curve.
I know we're ahead. It's gonna be backwards compatible.
That's my favorite part about it.
Well, they got that Metroid Prime 4 Echoes coming out. Looks pretty rad.
Yeah.
So,
So that's the reason I bought a Switch, to be honest.
oh,
They
it's the
got
new.
me.
They pulled the Breath of Wild on you, or they were you
I like.
people basically bought the system for one game that never came out till the very end.
I said. I said. I said this in the Discord, and I had to eat. I had to eat shit like immediately because I was like, I'm not buying one unless they announce Metroid Prime 4, and I will be goddamned if they didn't announce Metroid Prime 4. And I was like, well, I guess I'm buying the Switch. And then here I am,
And
however many
he,
years later, still without Metroid Prime 4 and also without a Switch. So,
yeah, well, they're gonna put it on. I mean, it's coming to the. They're still gonna support the Switch, which is great, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna
mm,
run really nice on the
yeah,
Switch too.
100%.
So,
Yeah, that whole like it's in development. Hey guys, we just completely scrapped everything we're doing. We're starting over. That's like the most me shit of all. Like I bought a system just to play it, and they were like, "Oh yeah." So anyway, it wasn't going the way we wanted, so we just stopped. We're
well,
starting
that's
over.
it's literally the same thing that happened with Breath of the Wild. I know you don't like that game, but I mean, it's like
Right
literally
for
the
the Wii
same.
U. Right,
Yeah, but
right.
it was literally the same exact situation where by the time Breath of
Mm,
the Wild came out on the Wii U, the Switch was out, and it's
yep,
technically like Breath of the Wild
yep.
is technically a port of the Wii U edition when you think
Right,
about it,
right.
and it's the
Exactly.
one everyone
Right,
played probably the
right.
most. So,
Yep, yep.
good times.
Not
Um,
me. I bought
yeah,
it,
not
but
this boy.
not a fan.
Um. What was it saying? Oh, speaking of the Switch, I know we're trying to be more focused, or I am at
Yeah,
least.
I'm trying. You keep bringing up
I
Evanescence,
know,
man. I
but
don't.
I got Xenoblade Chronicles X, the definitive edition for the Switch, because I
Mm-hmm.
loved the Wii
Mm-hmm.
U game so much, and then I got it, and I got it last Tuesday after a doctor's appointment. I picked it up at Target, and it is now Monday, and I have put
Mm-hmm.
45 hours into the game.
That's a series that I really want to play,
Uh-huh.
but I don't. I know in my heart of hearts that it's not the case, but part of me wants it to be like in the Xenogears universe, and I love Xenogears,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that it's not the same thing, so I've not played any of them.
Yeah, it's not. No, not really. And they're very, um, yeah, they're the new ones are connected, but it's not like I don't know. They're all very different games, I find. Like the Xeno
Okay,
Chronicles X is more of like an exploration. You get a mech game, and you know,
that's what I want it for. Like I like the dude, I played Xenogears 4 times I think on the
hmm
PS1. Like
hmm
I that was my shit, and then somebody stole it from me.
Damn.
Uh, so yeah, so I actually rebought it when I got back into to buying retro games a few years ago, and I paid a lot of money for it. But I was like, I'm going to get Xenogears back.
Well, it's a good one. And like at the beginning, they like burn your village down and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. There's a lot more emotion in that game, I find.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't give you a mech in this game until you're about 20 to 30 hours in, basically. So
Wow.
but it like in my opinion it pays off because the game is more like you're on this world and you have to explore and discover things. And
Mm,
so you spend like a good amount of time on foot going through this world with these big creatures, these like inaccessible areas because of height or whatever. And then once you get the
mm.
mech, it's like a totally different game. You're like, oh my God, like my weapons
Oh,
are
that's cool.
overpowered. I can go back and fight these like big creatures that I couldn't fight before. I can jump
Yeah.
over like terrain I couldn't before. And like it totally opens up the game. And then at a certain point, then you unlock the ability to like uh fly basically with the mech. You can
Mm.
fly, and then everything is just so trivial at that point in terms of mobility. But then you can exit the mech and go on foot too. You just jump out like with
Yeah, that
Gundam.
was what I really liked about the Xenogears was like
Yeah.
it was kind of the balance between the mech part and the on foot parts. And the same thing with like Titanfall, something like Titanfall,
Oh
which
yeah.
I really like also. But Titanfall 2, I think, is one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, I mean you can't you can't I mean they did such a good job of like making a game so short but so perfect. Like there's no room
Yep.
for error, you know?
Yep.
Like they it was just
Exactly. Well, also because I think that just giving it a campaign, you know, I just appreciate that because the multiplayer is also so polished and so perfect
yeah.
that, the fact that we got a campaign at all and it was as good as it was, I
Hmm.
forgive them for it only being, I don't know what, 4 hours, whatever,
Yeah, but I'd
because
rather
that's 4 of the best hours, you'll ever play in your life. So,
yeah, I know. Like, I'd rather replay that 4 hour campaign every few years
yep.
than have like a campaign that was bloated,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that wasn't super fun to play, um,
Right.
or had just moments, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Titanfall 2 is it's peak video game there.
Big
Um,
time.
Switch 2 this week. Pre-order it when it's out and
I'm
give
100%. I'm going to.
Miyamoto money. Uh,
And I'm not
uh,
going to buy a single launch game. unless Metroid Prime 4's launch game.
yeah, I'm not sure what they're planning for the launch. There's
I'm just
no,
going to play all the shit that I have that I haven't been able to.
yeah, there you go. I don't know. I think there's going to be like a lot of like ports of pre-existing games on current
Absolutely. Yeah.
Xbox and PlayStation games and stuff like that. You know, there's mumblings of
Right.
like the Halo collection and Gears of War and what have you,
Yep. Forza.
which would all be awesome. Uh,
Yep.
but wouldn't sell the console for me. I would definitely get them though. But I
Yeah.
mean, but yeah, I think that's that's what's gonna happen. And we'll see
Well,
what
they'll
they have.
drop Nintendo will drop at least one first party banger though. So,
I think Mario Kart is the one that seems to be
mm,
because of the reveal trailer they did. They had Mario Kart
gotcha.
in there, so they got the new
Yeah, I
Mario
remember
Kart.
like, but yeah, but like with like way more players,
Yeah,
concurrent players.
they
Yeah.
got like 32 or something. I
Yeah.
forget what
Yeah.
it's absurd.
That's fucking chaos.
I know. The online is gonna be outrageous.
You're right.
Absolutely outrageous. Um, uh, how about you? Did you play anything else that wasn't Control? We're gonna talk about Control today, by the way.
Yeah. No. What did I do? Oh, I started Avowed. I don't remember if I
Oh
talked
yeah,
about it.
how is that? You like it?
So okay, so I didn't talk about it last show. So, yeah, yes, actually, yes. It is they like I just assumed it was just gonna be like a Skyrim thing, which
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like Brandon just like gushed about it on Werewolves one night, and I was like, and it was like in between weeks of because the current Destiny season or act or whatever.
Hmm.
Like it was like a couple of weeks before the part two of this act was going to drop, and I was like, I had nothing really to do outside of Control, and I was like, eh. So I started Avowed, and it's very good, but it's like it's I don't know, I don't want to use the word simple, but there's so many quality of life improvements versus what I'm used to from that type of game.
Sure. Yeah.
Like so many things are so much easier and just make more sense, and there's multiple loadouts, and the loadouts you could change with the click of like one button.
Hmm.
And so you go from your melee build to a magic build or an air bow and arrow build, whatever build
Hmm.
and stuff. And like it doesn't penalize you for changing, and it does you're not required to, you know, you can't like only hold a certain amount of things because like while if I'm playing a sim that makes sense,
Hmm.
but like I fucking hate more than anything in a video game. This is which is supposed to be my escape from reality. When I walk at a snail's pace because I accidentally picked up too much of a currency or a thing. And I'm like, bitch, I know it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to. It's a fucking video game, all right?
You're
Like
over encumbered, Mitch.
this was my I know, and this was my problem with Breath of the Wild. I was like, will this motherfucker shut up? Like he's cold, he's hungry, he's hot, he's thirsty. Bitch, I don't care. Oh my God, it's a video game. I'm not gonna stop and fucking cook you food. Like what Jesus Christ, that's annoying to me. And so this like has none of that shit.
Hmm.
And then I wouldn't have picked up on it, but like Binky brought it up. He's like, the very first kind of companion you meet in the game
Hmm.
is voiced by the guy that voiced Garrus in Mass Effect. And I was like, well,
Oh,
that's my man right there because like Garrus was he was my ride or die in all Mass Effect.
he's
So
still my ride or die. I love that guy.
hell yeah. So it's I don't know. There's like this story about like I don't know. There's like some kind of like rot or whatever that's like taken over and stuff. And there's this one oasis where it's not there yet, and you're
Hmm.
being sent there for some reason, whatever. I don't know. I only played like maybe the first 2 hours, 3 hours of it because then the next act of Destiny dropped, and also I was trying to make sure I got done with Control. So,
Hmm.
but it's something that like I can absolutely see myself like just going back to in between Destiny stuff, in between stuff for the show, and just doing a quest or here there or whatever. But like I have friends who like have lost their lives to it. Like people seem to really like it, which is cool.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know.
it's weird because the online discourse about it was so weird. And like
Mm-hmm.
I think IGN gave it like a 5 or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like people were so weird about it, but at the same time I don't listen to the to that vocal minority because I really liked Outer Worlds and like
Yeah.
that was them too and
Right. Right.
like not a perfect game, but it was like a version of a Fallout game that was like very streamlined and
That's
like
what this is. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like streamlined Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I love the Obsidian guys. I don't know if it's still the same team that's been around since like when they did Fallout New Vegas and Alpha
Mm-hmm.
Protocol, but like I like what they do as a development team and they've I don't know, they understand the genres that they work in
Right.
and I'm really excited to play Avowed when I eventually do because first of all I'm waiting for an actual disc to drop and if not
Right.
I'll wait for it to like be on sale cuz like digitally or something unless I go
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
to Game Pass but like if I see it for like 20 bucks 30 bucks I might buy it digitally but
Yeah.
I know that
That's
once
me.
Mhm.
Like I said, like this, that whole like high fantasy, this kind of stuff. I'm not typically a fan of,
Mhm.
but I said the same thing. Like just on what I've played of it, I said like if it drops physically and I can pick it up for around $20, I'll absolutely buy it. Because like I said, I'm it at least did enough for me in like the first couple of hours because I basically what I played was essentially I guess like the intro or whatever because
Mhm.
you end up getting on a boat and then you get to the first port of the first big city and I feel like that's where the game kind of opens up,
Mhm.
and that's where I'm at. So I, and the only reason honestly it was Brandon gushing about it, and then I was already sort of interested because they got me with that key art with the skull, the skeleton with like
Yeah, it's
holding the sword with like
pretty
the
pretty
flowers and
metal.
shit. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's dope. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that looks badass. But I know it's just Skyrim, so I'm not gonna play it. And then listening to Brandon talk about it, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I got nothing else to play right now, so
Well, you can, if you want, you can buy a physical edition with a download code in it if you want
mm,
for
I'll put it
$90.
next to my PUBG piece of cardboard. Yeah, okay. Like I'm
Yes,
good.
so silly, my man. Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check out Avowed because, like I said, I really liked Outer Worlds,
Hmm.
and everyone shit on that. And that was a game that like I played, I really liked, and like was not in like looking at the online discourse about it. And then I like checked in, I was
Hmm.
like, so what does the internet think about Outer Worlds? And I typed it in, and then saw all of this like this game is horse shit and stuff. I was like, did I play the same game as everybody else? Like it's
Yeah,
like I don't know, it's not
it's
perfect. It was fun. Like I don't like you know what I mean. So like I don't
yeah,
know. So the same
it's
thing
in my
happened with
backlog.
Avowed.
Yeah.
Oh, you never played Outer Worlds?
No, I own it. I haven't played it. I bought it on PS4 from GameFly for like $15.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I highly recommend it, sir.
Nice.
Um, we are here to talk about Control today.
Hmm.
We are Um, we are here to talk about Control. We are continuing our Remedyverse walkthrough of post Max Payne Remedy games, which
Hmm.
was really funny because I have a video like interview with one of the Remedy guys on from YouTube. It's
Hmm.
on YouTube, I mean. And like one of the comments was like they're like they haven't made a good game since Max Payne 2, but maybe I'll check this out. And I was like, what?
What?
I was like, what is it's
Okay.
like what are you talking about? Like I don't like what it's like they have they not made a game that you've enjoyed or have they not made a good game? That's two very different things.
Right. Or did the internet tell you what they've made wasn't good that you never played in the first place? Like
That's
that's
right. Yeah, you know. So, um anyway, we were continuing the route into the Remedyverse that's going to get even more distorted come Alan Wake 2, which I'm very excited about, but we jumped off a Quantum Break which has some Alan Wake connections, but uh this is more it's more like Alan Wake and Control are very closely tied together for
yes.
a lot of narrative reasons. And if you play the DLC of Control, it's very specific about
It sure is.
yeah, it's very specific about how tied in it is, which I think is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, let's talk about Control. So Control is a game that I played and already just I was really excited to come back to this.
Hmm.
Um, and so and you and Mitch, you never really picked it up, right?
No, so I had it. This is what happened.
So
I
what
had a
happened was,
yeah, I think I may have said this before, maybe, but I had a friend who he would buy everything like the day it came out and
hmm
finish it, and then just like be done with it. Like never does DLC. He plays through the campaigns or the whatever it is one time, and then he's done. And so he's like, "Hey, I bought Control. Are you interested in it?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't have it yet. I wanted to play it." He's like, "Well, I'll send it to you for 30." And I was like, "Okay." And then like literally like a couple of days later, he's like, "I just finished that Jedi Fallen Order thing. You want that too?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "About 50 for both." And I was like, "Sure." So I got those two at the same time, and obviously Star Wars is going to trump because again, like back then, I wouldn't have known it was even remotely the same team that was behind because I was just like, it looks like a cool game. I didn't really pay attention to these developers back then.
hmm
And so I started Fallen Order, and I got extremely aggravated with Fallen Order. I have since finished it, but
you
and then
did
I
you
had,
run you went back to Kashyyyk and you figured out the Wookiee
yep,
maze.
yep, exactly. And but I had the same problem with Control when I started it. I played um, up to the point where you go into like that giant like reactor sort of security area and shit.
hmm
I hate the fucking maps in both of these games so much. I can't tell you like how many times in that first when I first played, I don't know what is that like maybe 3 hours of Control,
Uh-huh.
and then again with this term, I can't tell you how many times I literally out loud said, "Bitch, I don't work here. Like I don't know where what you're saying is. Like I don't know how to get there. I don't know what staircase. I don't know where the elevator is. Like I don't fucking work here."
hmm
So yeah, I had only played maybe 3 hours of it before this time.
Um, and we're back, fresh off of Quantum Break, fresh off of Alan Wake.
Yeah.
And it's been a nice like I don't know, it's been nice being like in these month-long processes of like playing through these games because I don't know, I don't feel like I would have done this like this any other way. So like like
Yeah.
I would have just played Alan Wake 2 sort of without remembering much of Control, you know what I mean? But now I'm kind of
Oh, same here.
going
Shit,
into
I wouldn't.
Alan Wake 2 with all of this Control knowledge, which I'm very excited
Yeah.
about.
Also, like I wouldn't have remembered much about Alan Wake 1. Like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
so
yeah. I
just
mean,
like playing these in succession like this, it's been great.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm with you there because, like, I think too, like, all I really remembered from Alan Wake was that he was a writer, and you needed
Hmm.
to flashlight the bad guys
Yeah,
and something
Stephen
about his
King
wife.
meets Twin Peaks. Yeah, I remembered that stuff, but like specifics, nah. Like
But yeah, I think the first time I really didn't get the ending, didn't
I
really,
certainly didn't. I was like,
didn't.
that was really good. I don't have a fucking clue what happened at the end. Like that was my memory of
Yeah,
Alan Wake
why
1.
Alan Wake such a why he a dick though?
So that I ain't even forgotten that. I forgot what a dick he was at the start of the game. That was one of my main takeaways from this last playthrough.
Yeah,
I was like, he kind of sucks.
he kind of not
Like,
a nice guy.
no,
He's not nice to his missus.
right.
So we played Control. Control is a game that came out in 2019, developed by
Hmm.
Remedy Entertainment and published by 505 Games. 505. 5 on 5, 505, 505 Games.
I got 5 on it.
There you go. Um 505 Games is a publisher that is in the video game business, and they're pretty much just like business folks. They've published a lot of things for various reasons. Like they worked with Starbreeze, or bought Payday from Starbreeze. They because they
Mm,
published Payday 2. Um,
nice.
yeah, but they've done like their resume is extensive, and they're not really like a unique publisher in that they're looking for certain things, and um their control, it seems like, over their developers isn't super like extensive, like say something like Microsoft or like EA or somebody, where they're a little more like it's clear they're a lot more hands-on,
Mm,
at least with the bigger titles. But this is published by 505 Games. It was released on the PS4, the PC, the Xbox One. Then it was upgraded to the PS5 and the Series X in 2021. And there is a cloud version on Switch, apparently, which I,
that's true. Yeah, because I remember you could like you could play like a certain amount of it for free or something.
oh my gosh,
I forgot about that. I remember when that dropped. Yeah, you could like play. Yeah, you could download it from the cloud for free and play like X amount of it or something.
it's so weird. I like, I don't,
Yeah,
I don't think that's probably, I mean, obviously not the best way to play a game like this, but interesting.
right. Yeah,
And they also
because it
had
was
a,
one of the first ones from the Switch Cloud thing. I remember, like it was one of the first
um,
like major drops or whatever.
because they did a couple of those Resident Evil games too that way.
Yeah, yep, yep, yep.
I don't think Nintendo's sticking with that. Doesn't seem like that's something they were like, it doesn't seem like something they were gonna stick with. And there's also a cloud version on Stadia from Amazon.
Nice.
So any of you out there with Stadia controllers, you can play Control.
I don't think you can anymore. I mean, they like that's over.
Is that over? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because they ended up like selling those controllers for like dirt cheap.
They use it to pilot
Because they
submarines to go
scrapped
see the
that.
Titanic or something.
Yeah, exactly. No, those are PS2 controllers, but yeah, they scrapped they scrapped Stadia pretty fucking hard. Like, because I know Destiny was big on Stadia. That was one of their big pushes was like play Destiny or whatever. And I was like, if you find me a way to play Destiny at work without getting fired, then you've got my fucking money. But
You have my attention. Just gonna do a raid real quick.
hmm. Hmm.
So the game was complete. So Control was completed in 3 years of development for about 30 million euros, which is more or
Mm.
less like $30 million, about, with the,
Hmm.
what would you call it? The
Conversion rate.
conversion rate. But that's a pretty modest budget for a AAA game. And
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
short development time because I think they took about 5 and 4 years respectively for Alan Wake and Quantum Break to make. So
Mm.
3 years is pretty tight turnaround. And this is their separation from Microsoft. It wasn't, it doesn't look like it
Hmm.
was a deal that was going to continue forward in terms of publishing. I don't know what the story is there because, like, I think Quantum Break sold fine, but I think Remedy was just, I think they're just very they have a vision. They're very specific about how they want their games to be.
Yeah.
Um, so I think something like that might have played into it. But by 2024, Control sold about 4.5 million units, which is pretty good for
Yeah.
a $30 million game. Um, so yeah, so I think that was good. And also for future reference for the future, Remedy bought back the rights to Control from 505 Games for 17 million euros.
Wow.
So I guess when Control 2 comes out, 505 is not publishing it, so I don't know who's publishing. I don't know if they're still working with Epic. Is that who they worked with Alan Wake 2, I think? Um so I don't know what
Maybe.
I don't
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't correct me on that one. I mean, don't trust me on that because I don't really remember who did Alan Wake 2 publishing wise, but I think it was Epic. Anyway, um so they bought back their rights to the controls. So that was something they did in 2023 or 2024 because they are making the second game, and I guess they want full control over the property. um so the game Control, how do I sum this up? It's basically about this woman named Jessie Faden who spells her name exactly like mine, which is very odd because most Lady Jessies have an I in their name, and she does
Hmm.
not. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like that. Shout out to
Hmm.
androgynous names. The game starts out like with this like her. I mean, there's some other things that happened before this moment, but like basically she walks into this building, this very brutalist architecture building, and she is trying to find out more information about her brother, and this is the information that she's had so far has kind of led her to this point, to this building. Fun fact: 33 Thomas Street in New York City was an inspiration for the older house, and if you look up 33 Thomas Street, you will know exactly. I'm gonna put a picture of it in the post, but it's
Okay.
very like brutalist, spooky, weird, like intense architecture, and it looks exactly like the older house building. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Um, so she's there to trying to figure out more about her brother. Of course, she walks in, nobody's there. It's really quiet. It's weird. She meets the very friendly and odd Scandinavian janitor. Um, and then she basically comes to find out that something has happened in this place called the Older House, which has allowed the possession of people who work there to become these like evil forces. Um, it's also worth noting that this place is called the FBC, which is the Federal Bureau of Control, and essentially they are a government agency dealing with the paranormal. So, I think X-Filesy kind of thing on a really grand scale. Um, and you go to try to meet the director, and like he's dead, and then all of a sudden you become the director. You get this gun that does all these weird things, and then you get telekinetic powers. And the game is you going through this building that like shifts and turns because the older house is like a lot bigger inside than it looks from the outside.
Hmm.
And you're trying to solve puzzles, and you're doing combat, and it's it's a game that takes a lot of inspiration from Metroidvanias and Dark Souls, and they've said that. Um,
Oof.
in that
You
you,
ain't fucking lying.
yeah, in that in that you have these like points that you find, like these control points where you can like up your abilities and you save and you can fast travel between these points. If you die, you come back to that point. You lose some of the I don't know the experience points that you can use to dump into abilities when you go back there. And also like the game encourages you to like go back to places you've already been to see like other rooms that you now have access to or from either getting new key cards or powers, and then you can find other things to help upgrade your current situation. And also it's pretty like I would say the combat's pretty difficult. It's difficult in that
Oh, 100%.
it
This
will
game kicked my ass
it will
like no
bully
game
you.
that we have done for this show before has.
Well, you did what I did too, where you went and somehow ended up in the DLC
Yeah,
before
I did.
you were leveled to go in there.
Yeah, and see, I was trying to like kind of dance around that because I wasn't sure if you knew how Alan Wake focused the DLC was. So I was like, and you were like, I told you not to do that. And I was like, bro, like once I got in there and it was all Alan Wake, there was no way I wasn't gonna do it. Like,
When you saw your boy in there.
yeah, I was like, fuck, this is amazing. Like, yeah, this is absolutely I'm doing this. Nick kicked my ass. I am not a bro, I am not a Dark Souls person. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Uh
It
good
had
lord, this game is
it,
difficult for
it
somebody like me.
yeah, it's pretty difficult. Like I think the DLC is definitely the most difficult part of that game of the game for sure, especially that boss.
Well, I fucked up and did the jukebox token way too early also, and that kicked my shit. That
Oh
kicked shit
yeah.
out of me also. Yeah. Good lord.
Yeah, that's no
Like it's
joke.
yeah, the combat and the enemies in themselves are hard enough, but then there's a fucking timer, and I was like, I should never have put this token in this machine. Like this is not happening.
Yeah, it's that I think that's like the Foundation DLC stuff. It's another thing that if when you're playing it and you don't really know that that's DLC, you can get tricked in pretty
Oh,
early
was
to
that DLC too?
yeah, you can
Yeah, I
get
had no.
tricked into
Oh my
playing that
god.
pretty early.
Oh, that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, the jukebox and then also the Alan Wake stuff is all DLC that they added. That's the problem sometimes when you play these like
Oh,
deluxe
okay.
versions is that
The
you
Ultimate Edition, yeah,
yeah, you get
yeah.
conned into playing DLC that you're just not ready for. And that's what happened because we played the deluxe edition, which or whatever it is, the complete edition, the something edition,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that has all the
Whichever
extra
one's on Game Pass, yeah.
yeah, Game Pass. I got a physical copy of it too somewhere.
Nice.
Not somewhere, it's on my shelf.
I still have the regular one, so I just downloaded this from Game Pass and played it because I figured, if you're gonna play it, if there's something called the Ultimate or Complete or whatever edition, that's probably the one we should do for the show. So,
Yeah, and it already has like the ray tracing stuff built in when you play it, so you don't have to
mm-hmm.
download a new update, so makes it easier. Um, Also,
Mm-hmm.
Control is one of the first games to feature ray tracing to be added to it, so that's kind of cool too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Also, this game was made on the Northlight engine, which we love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good engine, I think. I mean, I think it makes. I mean, I would say like combat's difficult, but I love the combat in this game. I mean, it's like
Oh, I do too.
it's the like throw shit everywhere
Yep.
simulator.
It's like I don't know if you remember, but like the Psyops on the PS1.
Yep, yep.
That game was so much fun. I
Hmm.
couldn't tell you a fucking thing about the story, but I played both of those games to death because it was so much. And then I was like, man, if they just made a Star Wars game, and then they did the fuck Force Unleashed games.
Hmm.
And I was like, this is Psyops, but Star Wars, it's so good. And so like I guess what I'm saying is if you give me the option to like kill somebody and then use my force powers to grab their corpse and fling it at somebody else, I'm gonna fucking play it. Like it's like there's just no question.
I
Like
just kept dumping all of my points into the throwing stuff because
mm,
you become pretty overpowered by the end of it when you're just like
yeah.
throwing like the big enemies into the
Well,
smaller
right.
enemies.
When you basically become Jean Grey, like you're just flying around. Like look,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Same
once you
here.
get the levitating, yeah, it's like it's
Yes.
over. Like you can just like I mean it becomes and then there's the last power or the last ability where you get to hold three things at once and throw it and it just
Mm-hmm.
wrecks anything it hits. It's so good.
Yep. Well, also
Um
even the gun, right? There you have one gun, but it's a pistol, a sniper rifle, an SMG, a grenade launcher, the shotgun,
mhm.
like pretending, depending on how you spend your upgrade points, stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So I actually really like that as well. Like I didn't have to worry about like you know unlocking new weapons or this or that. It's like no, it's the same gun. It just changes what it does. That's fucking cool, man. I
Yeah,
really like that.
it was it's a really smart way to make the game like combat focused without you having to worry about.
Oh, and that's the other thing, right? It
Hmm.
it it regenerates its own ammo, so I don't have to worry about picking up ammo
Yeah.
for this gun or that gun or like things that I'm used to, like Destiny and like all the other games that I play. Right? It's like
Right. Yeah, you
where
just
do I have this gun slotted? Okay, I don't have any ammo for that. I better switch to this. Shit like that. It's like no, same. It's one gun does it all. Regenerates its own ammo. You're good. Just
yeah,
play.
man. It's like it's almost like playing Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Just one ammo type. But no, I think um for me like that I really liked that focus on the combat and especially making her play the way you want. So like for me, I was very big in using the throw as my distance hitting, and then
Mm-hmm.
I had the shatter like the shotgun version as my
Mm-hmm.
main gun because I when they get close, I just shoot them and it's pretty powerful up close. So like
Yeah,
that was like a
100%.
really fun way to play the game. But then
That's
there was also like some bosses where I needed to use the sniper one from
mm-hmm.
far back.
Right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I played very similarly until I realized that that one form was essentially a grenade launcher. And while, yes, it's true, I killed myself with it uh, more than one time. I also just the way that it worked, where it would like if you held it down, it would hover like multiple grenades,
yeah.
and then you just fucking it was so fun. And I just couldn't stop myself from using it. So like I put the shotgun down and picked up the grenade launcher part like once I got to that point.
This actually leads into something I wanted to talk about too, about the design, the brutalist architecture design. I'm not an
Hmm.
architect, by the way. This is not like I've all of a sudden have all this knowledge about brutalist architecture, but I was
But
reading up on it for the game here. But
mhm.
what like when you're throwing stuff, you can just like rip concrete out of the
Yes,
wall and stuff, which
yeah,
is a very good way of like always having something to throw. Like because there's some
yes.
games where you get like telekinetic abilities, but you like there has to be like the highlighted thing in the room for you to throw.
Hmm.
But here it's just like even if you can't grab like a grenade that was thrown at you, which is also really fun to throw
Right.
back, or
Yes, it
like
is.
or like anything else, like you'll just at the very least pick up a bunch of concrete and throw it, which is super fun.
Hmm.
But there's this article on Polygon which I'll link, and it has like a video in it. And there is a line that the author wrote. It says a core part of Remedy's design philosophy is that it should feel like the player has an effect on the world. The oldest house does that by being made of beautiful reactive concrete. Concrete is inextricable from brutalist architecture. You can learn more about that in this great episode of the blah blah blah. Um, Anyway, concrete dictates how control responds to player input. When Jesse Faden hovers, then slams into the ground, you get an impact crater. Bullets leave scars and fill the air with dust. I can rip out a gnarly chunk of wall and throw it, or use it as a shield. If I throw furniture, it can explode on impact because concrete is really hard. Which I think is,
Yeah,
yeah, concrete is super hard.
yeah. I've noticed. Like,
um, Uh, but I mean, it's true because like you are like you use that house that interior to your advantage so much, um, because of that, and yeah, if you fall from like from height, you come down and like you leave like an indent and stuff. It's pretty cool
mhm.
how it like that game how great this game looks and reacts to like your just like you wrecking the shit out of a room when you've been in it. Um, and I think, I mean, a lot of a lot of games really try to work with the engine they have, but they've done so much with Northlight that I'm excited to see like where they can take this because of how the environments react in this engine, which I think is pretty cool. So, um,
Hmm.
I think
It's like what is that one? And God, I wish they'd make another one, but the engine that they use for Battlefield Bad Company
oh
was it
yeah, the
Frostbite or
yeah, Frostbite.
with the because you could take buildings down to the fucking studs like in those games, and it was so much fun.
I don't think they use frostbite anymore. Because I think
Mm.
for like the new
Yeah, they
Battlefield,
probably don't. That was yeah, those are old. Yeah, those are. But I mean, I wish they'd make another one. I love those games
yeah, frostbite engine. Let's see.
because I have 2042, but I played zero. I have none of it. But the last one I really played was four.
Oh, actually, the new Dragon Age, I guess, used it. So
Oh, okay.
interesting. But
Huh.
I mean, I don't think that they're doing the same thing with engine that they did in those Bad Company games where you could just like level
Yeah.
buildings,
Right.
which was so fun.
Oh
Um,
God. Yeah.
that was so fun. Anyway, yeah. So I think like for me, how kinetic the game is and how much you interact and like how the combat response to that is a big selling point because it feels very snappy and
Mm,
you have to be quick to defeat your enemies and they have to be quick to avoid you. Um
right.
and
Oh, I have a great video I want to send to you, by the way. I don't know if you'll be able to like put it in the show, but
I think so. I think
it,
yeah, sure.
it's a clip from it's an Xbox clip, but it cracks me up. I've watched it like 50 times. I laugh every time.
What are you doing it?
I'm not doing anything, so I'm I'm uh I'm like in the menus or like doing upgrades or like looking at the goddamn map, which I spent so much time in this game doing. And I didn't I was had been in a combat scenario and I didn't know that everybody wasn't dead. And so I'm in the menus or whatever. And this like I don't forget what to, like not a ranger, whatever like the base enemy type was or whatever. And
Hmm.
his this dude like runs up to me and whacks me with the stick and they just hauls ass away from me. And I laughed so hard. The animation's so good. All I could do was laugh. And then I tried to hit him with a grenade launcher and I ended up just blowing up a column closest to me and it did more damage to me than him. But God, it was funny. And I was like, I gotta send that to Jesse. So
That's the Northlight engine working for us. Uh so I guess we should talk about the story a little bit too. Because the director's voiced by James McCaffrey, R.I.P. Um, I mean, I feel like James McCaffrey would have worked with Remedy until he died. I was gonna say he did work until he
mhm.
died. I feel like if he had a longer life, he would continue doing projects with Remedy because I think he's in Alan Wake as well, or Alan Wake 2, sorry. Um, but I feel like he just would have kept he's just so I don't know, like it's so weird for me to think of like the next Remedy game without him, because like I
Right.
feel like his voice always pops up in at least one character, um
Yeah.
so it's gonna be really sad when we have to face that. But uh so eventually so the reason why Jessie is there to look for her brothers because when she was young, her and her brother were involved in an accident that was or an event that was caused um by something that the FBC had to come in and handle. And because of that, they took her brother away. And so
Mhm.
she's been looking for him her whole life. She didn't know who these government spooks were. She didn't know what was going on. You learn about these things called objects of power, which allow for, I don't know, paranormal things to be attached to them, I guess is a good way. I mean, it's sort of like what you think
Yeah.
about with like The Conjuring or something, right? Like like the
Sort of, but like while like they're very dangerous, they also don't necessarily always feel sinister either because they're kind of like
it's true.
it kind of has a very Twilight Zoney kind of vibe to a lot of it.
Hmm.
But like also things can go like horrendously wrong immediately with them. So,
Like there's some of them is there's like a rubber duck you can find and you have to keep
right.
like you have to
Yeah.
keep like it
It's
keeps
like,
disappearing and you have to try to catch it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the fucking one of my favorite side quests, the poor bastard who couldn't take his eyes off the refrigerator.
Oh yeah.
God. Like that was
Yeah.
so good.
It's so funny. And then you go back to the guy, his like boss, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we forgot all about
I
it."
forgot all about it. He's like, I've been sitting here for so long. He's like, I can't keep my eyes open much longer. Please help. Like,
It's so funny. Yeah, that's like I think so like I think too that's really apparent in Remedy's games is sort of like this kind of like goofiness that's somehow built
mhm,
into like either a very serious narrative or like or like just scary, horrific things are happening, but there are these like
right.
very hilarious characters that you interact with
Yes.
who are like detached from reality. Like that same dude, he like has like there's that when you do like the Alan Wake DLC, he's just like a recording of him talking to himself on a videotape. And he's just like going
Yes.
on and on and on
Yes.
and on.
Yes. Yes.
It's so funny. Like it's
Yeah.
so goofy. And I think that like comes like it comes across. I mean, it's so funny to like listen to. Like, there's another video I'll post of the Remedy guys talking, which is always so hilarious to me because they just sound like a bunch of like vampires talking all the time.
Yes.
And it's so funny to hear them talk about like like talk about Twin Peaks with like but like in their vampire voice.
Right.
It's
Right.
really really hilarious to me. Like it's just it's kind of cute, I guess. I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
like they're just like I don't know, and they're very enthusiastic, which I also really like. Like
hmm
they really like making their games and
I love that. I
yeah.
love, yeah, I love like anytime anyone's that excited about their art, like I just appreciate it. Even I feel like the art even more just because of how excited or like how like almost like childlike excitement over what they're doing.
Yeah, every time Sam Lake's out there, he talks about it like he's got like ADD where he's like you can't get him to focus on one thing too long because he's
hmm
excited to talk about the next thing. Like
Right.
I think that's really endearing. It's endearing to me. So
hmm
um I don't know where was I going with that? Something about the video. Oh, I don't know. But
Sorry.
that's okay. I did it again. But what I do also like too is the motion capture and the inclusion of like real people as the like
Yes.
actors in the games
Yep.
again, like they did with
Yep.
Quantum Break and what they did with Alan Wake as well,
hmm
and what they did with Max Payne. When you think about it, I mean, the original Max Payne was, Sam Lake. His
Yeah, and those like
it was
comic booky.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was him. Um,
Right.
until they did the third game, but
hmm
where they kind of, I guess the third game they tried to make it look like James McCaffrey. I feel like, right? They tried to make it like James McCaffrey in the third game. Or no, they tried to make it more. No, in Max Payne 2, tried to make it look like James McCaffrey, and then that led to 3. Um,
Mm.
because they didn't want to, Sam Lake didn't want, whatever. Anyway,
So I
but
don't know. He just kind of looked like I don't know, the Punisher with a buzzed haircut in part three. So I
yeah,
don't know. Like I didn't really
and a
directly tie it to it, but that was also rock stars. So
Hawaiian shirt and just
yeah.
sweating. That was fun. That was fun though.
hmm hmm
Um, so they got Courtney Hope to come back, and she was in Quantum Break. She played Beth, who
hmm
you can save or not save in it. Um, and there are a few others. Like I said, James McCaffrey comes back. That dude who was also in Quantum Break, Sean Dury, plays Dylan, her brother. He played Nick
hmm
in Quantum Break. So, um, you have the motion capture and then making it look like them in the game, and then you also have like once again you have like the FMV scenes in which there are real people acting in these
Yep.
videos
Yep.
that you think, I mean, you always think it's going to be more immersive breaking than it is, and it never is. Like, it kind of works really
Right.
well for this game or these games that they do specifically. um so yeah, I mean, once again, I think FMV is rad, and I'm so glad they just keep.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I'm not gonna keep talking about it, but yeah.
I mean, I was also thinking about it in terms of like money. It's probably gonna be just cheaper too. Like, you know,
Hmm.
like I think that's
Hmm.
what FMV was kind of done to do is just because it was way cheaper to
Right.
film than it was to like model things. So,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Also,
um,
like, I don't
mhm.
know. I think that's, especially in the infancy and the God bless them, of it for the on the Sega CD. I think that as pixelated and awful as it looked, I feel like they were like they thought that's what the evolution of immersive gaming was going to be, right? And they were trying to like
Right.
get ahead of it. You know what I mean? Like, cause shit, man, I can play Tomcat Alley to this day. Like, you
Hmm.
can like let me hook my fucking Sega CD up, and I'm putting Tomcat Alley in.
Hmm.
Because please let me be in Top Gun. Like, that's amazing.
Please, oh please.
I'm saying, like, I'd rather play Tomcat Alley than fucking Ace Combat 7. So
Oh,
there's that.
Ace Combat. Actually, I watched like a video essay on Ace Combat 3 recently,
Nice.
and this person, their account is it's like Transwitch reviews or something like
Oh,
that. Do you know them?
no, but that person's playing that somebody with that channel name is playing Ace Combat. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That
So
doesn't seem like an Ace Combat fan to me.
no, well, it's funny because so Transwitch is really great. She goes back and does like she does a lot with JRPG things, and I think she's like she's her
Mm,
perspective is so funny.
that's true. Yeah, Ace
But
Combat games are very Japanese. Yeah.
yes, so she talks about the third game where the third game's narrative is so whack because basically like you find out at the end of the game like you are actually an AI program and not a
Oh shit!
person. And
Wow.
like you were like programmed to kill. It kind of has like that Evangelion ending to it. And so
Mm-hmm.
like there's this like build up to the ending where like like it just gets so like end of the world Evangelion weird ending to it.
Mm.
Where this AI doesn't know they're an AI trained to kill. Then they
I
fuck.
remember Evangelion, like we didn't get the movies over here, and so I had to buy bootleg VHSs of the ending of Evangelion. And
And you're like, what?
well, no, but also like one theory was that like the end of the show played out in Shinji's head when he was like in the coma or knocked out or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, none of that really happened. That was
Hmm.
like that was when he was in his coma and stuff. And I was like,
Hmm.
you've lost me completely. I want to go back to the big robots beating the shit out of the penis shaped monsters.
Yeah.
Like that's
Well, well, I mean, infamously they ran out of money.
oh, okay. See, I haven't
Yeah.
looked into it. Like this was
Ye-
all,
yeah,
you know,
so
the
so
infancy of the internet and like speculation was running wild and I didn't know what I was watching to begin with. So
yeah, the end of Evangelion is infamous because at least the show because they ran out of money and they just had to slap something together and then they
mm,
had then they were able to put out the movies the end of Evangelion later,
yeah,
which is sort of like the real kind of ending to the whole thing, which the
right.
dude, I forget his name, but that's how he wanted it to end.
Mm.
And he's a very funny guy too. Like he's like interviews with him are really hilarious because he's
Well, I made
uh unassuming of
bank
how
when
like
I sold those.
genius. What? You sold them?
Hmm.
For how
I
much?
sold all my VHSs, uh, and I was looking at what the set was going for,
Hmm.
like on eBay. I sold on eBay, and then most of those didn't include the ending.
Hmm.
Because I had, like I said, I had bought bootleg VHSs of the end of Evangelion at a comic convention in Atlanta, and mine went for almost double what the set was going for at the time because I had the end of it, and most of those listings
No.
didn't. Yeah, I
Interesting.
made bank.
Nice. Um, yeah, Evangelion is it's just sort of like a interesting, weird thing that happened, and is kind of like more enigmatic and talked about because of the lack of funding more so than his
Mm.
actual vision of
What's the
what.
last? Honestly, it's. I won't say it's the last anime I really got into, but because I got into Trigun after that, like
Hell
years
yeah.
after that. But and Trigun is the last anime that I really got into. But Evangelion, I was super into.
Hmm.
Like I was importing uh VHS tapes of Evangelion.
There's a timeline, Mitch, where you're just like a total weeb. Like you're like total
I did,
total weeb.
so I did see the complete series on Blu-ray at Walmart for like $40 and I bought it. So I do want to rewatch it, but
I watch it like every, I don't know, 5 6 years. I think I
mm,
recently I watched it maybe 3 years ago or something like that. I rewatched it. Um,
yeah.
I still think it really holds up, and I think it I think going into it with the knowledge of like how the ending is kind of
Yeah, that's
screwed
what I'm
up is
excited to do, to be
it
honest.
it's like, oh, okay, like this makes more sense that it's not like I'm confused of what's happening. It's like literally like
Mm,
they were just trying to do their best with what they had.
right, right.
Um, anyway,
Anyway, well, that was an aside.
anime from the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I was,
Beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful
that
anime.
would have been like 98. So,
Uh-huh. It was a good time, man. I also watched Sarah and I watched a video essay over the weekend about the remasters of the Buffy seasons that
mm,
were horrible.
hmm.
So, people, it's just, I wish everyone did their job correctly. But anyways, what I was saying about Ace, we were talking about Ace Combat. Trans, which did the interview on the video
Hmm.
on Ace Combat. It's really good. It's really funny. Check it out. Um,
FMV took us down this rabbit hole. Like,
FMV took us down here. Okay, so jeez Louise, we're talking about real actors.
hmm.
There is a interview with Courtney Hope on Bloody Disgusting about Control.
Oh,
Interesting.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty random thing I found.
I'll have to look that
Um,
up.
and yeah, and I'm gonna link it in the post. And it's a really great interview with her because she's so pleasant. She seems very wonderful. Just as like she seems to really love her job. Like she does a lot of like TV stuff and soap opera stuff, normally, but she's kind of gotten in with the Remedy gang and she's in there
Mm,
now. She's like she can't leave now.
hmm.
Which is great because she seems to she seems to really love video games. Um, and at the time of this interview, I don't know if she still has the same boyfriend or whomever, but her boyfriend too was like really into video games, so she really liked doing this project at this time.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
but anyways, when they asked, so Bloody Disc, I think Andrew Miller was the um, interviewer, sorry, asked Courtney like about like where she took like uh guidance for acting in this position. She says, "I love
Mm,
Vera Farmiga." She's
mm,
she's very and she's
okay.
referencing her specifically in The Conjuring. Also, Vera Farmiga has a metal album out, by the way, so check that out.
Hell yeah, she does.
Um, and it's
She's
all
also great in again, boy, not to take us down anyway, but uh she's fantastic in the only Paul Walker thing that I like.
what's the Paul Walker thing?
That I'm gonna have to look it up because I did not prepare to talk about this tonight. The movie where he's like the undercover cop, whatever, and they shoot the hockey puck at his face, and
Oh,
and like she's weirdly like his wife or girlfriend or something, and then like while he's over here dealing with all this, she ends up like busting up like a pedophile ring and shit. It's the most running scared.
Running
Good
Scared, yeah.
bro, what a fucking movie. God. That thing had me on the edge of my fucking seat like few movies have ever. I was like, what is gonna happen? Like where there's pedophile rings and like he's in the mob, but maybe not in the mob, and they're shooting hockey pucks at his face. I was like, this is fucking crazy. Anyway, back to Control.
He also directed The Cooler.
Mm,
So check that out. Um, yeah, so Running Scared is a great movie. I would highly recommend it. Um, anyways, so Courtney in the interview, she goes, I love Vera Farmiga. She's referencing in The Conjuring. She was very strong. She was calm. There's something about her that I really enjoy. I did think about her quite often because when she is put up to task or she's put in front of a demon, there's a calmness about her. It's almost like you can feel her heart racing through the screen, but if you were to listen to her speak, she sounds calm. She did a good job of having her heart race and being nervous because you're confronted with something that's fearful or the circumstances are so high that if you fall, it will be a catastrophe. That's something I really focused on. Women are portrayed in a multitude of ways in horror films, and there's so many, and it was like the which one do I want to be? What is this story? Is this a broken woman that's coming through and finding something through this? Well, yes, but I also had to remember that Jessie's from the streets and she's not necessarily brittle, but overcomes that. I sort of pulled from a lot of different horror movie females and then found my own as Jessie. The biggest thing for me was reliving her own horror, losing her brother at such an
Mm-hmm.
losing her brother at such a young age and losing her parents. That in the reality of the horror before her, she even before she even hit the oldest house, it was kind of compounded. So I thought that was kind of cool. She and in the interview, it's a really
Yeah.
great interview. Like I said, I'll post it where she talks a lot about going to Finland and working with the Remedy guys and just having like a really great time and a really great experience. Everyone's super cool, of course, and also how much she likes horror movies. So it's a she's all right. She's pretty cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
But like I said, like I I'm pretty sure I said it during the last episode. Yeah, I bet she was my favorite character in Quantum Break.
Oh yeah, she was awesome in Quantum Break, and I think in Control, like I don't want to like because the game is so new, I don't want to spoil anything. Let's just say that she does,
No, no.
yeah, she does find her brother, and there are things that happen, but I think by the end of the game, like
Yeah,
her,
because that doesn't. Yeah, that's not the end. Like it. Yeah.
yeah, her ascension to where she ends up is like really satisfying, I feel like if they weren't going to make a Control 2, like I would be like, cool, like this is a really great way to end this story, like where she ends up is really like cool, she's badass. Like I think this is like a really fine way to block this off. But there is going to be a Control 2, and I think that because of the nature of, well, Alan Wake 2, obviously, but like the nature of this universe is very open-ended for a lot of storytelling opportunities. So very excited for that. And
Mm-hmm.
they have that Firebreak game coming out, which
Mm-hmm.
like like I was when I first saw it, I was like, like I don't know if this is like the game I want Remedy to be making. Like, I don't know if this is like the type of game. Like, are they doing this because they want to, or are they doing this because this is the trend and they need to put out like a
Well, it's
shooter?
like yeah, it's like what Rocksteady. It's like I could see Rocksteady wanting to make a Squad game, sure, but
Hmm.
do they want to be making a games as a service game?
Yeah, like it's hard to see. But when you shared that interview with me,
Mm-hmm.
and I really liked what they said. First of all, apparently Remedy is both the developer and publisher, which means that they're doing this
Mm-hmm.
because they want to do it, which is interesting. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing that's interesting is that in the interview with the dude, I forget who it is, one of the like directors of the game or creative guys, he says that he didn't want this to be like he says he's not they weren't making this game to be in competition with the other multiplayer games in the genre or the
Right.
field. They were literally
Right.
making a game for dads in that they don't want it to be like a game that um like you have to like check in with all the time and this that and the other. Like it's a game for busy people and like older people, and I was like, okay. like
Yeah,
like
100%. I'm in.
yeah, they said there's not going to be any battle passes. There's not going to be any like dailies or anything like that. Like this is very much a um pay to you know a pay to not yeah pay to play game, not a free to play game. It's like it is a game
Right.
in which
Right.
you pay flat price. It is the game that you are getting. I'm sure there'll be DLC or whatever, but I mean, they're
Yeah.
basically making a full product for you to have day one, which I think is um which was I guess reassuring for me because I was when I saw the trailer initially, I was like, I really didn't know, like I didn't know who was publishing this. I didn't know who was working on this game, and if like their shareholders were like, we need you to put out a live service game or something, and I was like, ugh. um
Right.
but this is going to be like a small scale game that will tie into the Remedy verse. And I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to play it with like you, and like check it out or something, and
Oh yeah.
see how like what it do, I think the nature of control in that like there's an outbreak in the oldest house and it's contained, but they need to contain it within the house. Like that's a totally viable storyline. It's like not like they're
100%. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what's so cool. It's like the way, and I know that I don't know if it was DLC or it was side quest in game, but like that one guy who like gives you a list of objects of power, and you're supposed to go
yeah.
like track them down and stuff like that. Like that's bro, that is perfect
hmm
for especially if they're like it's the same quirky writing and and just like kind of not necessarily complete and total evil but like almost like mischievous
hmm
but with like with the worst possible potential outcomes like
Yeah, like if
but
the
I'm
stuff
like
were to actually get out, it's a bad things are
well
gonna
it's like
happen.
yeah it's like I keep going back to the refrigerator because I loved it so much but it's like like that doesn't end up going too well for old Phil there. I think his name was Phil.
hmm
And you have to like step in and like go find the refrigerator, enter the refrigerator or whatever, right?
hmm
And that fucking boss fight. And I was just like, this is so bizarre. And Phil ends up a puddle on the floor. And it's like this is so bizarre, but it's like it's horrible, but it doesn't feel like mean spirited or evil necessarily.
No, no, not at all. Yeah.
And so that's such a perfect setup for a continuing thing, right? Like
Yeah, you know what it kind of reminded me
give me
of?
an object of power to go after like every week. I'm gonna fucking do it because if it's always that like charming, I guess, or whatever is the word I'm trying to come up with, but like
Yeah. I
it was like
think
supernatural, when that show first started, where it was like,
hmm
before, we were spending 23 episodes of a season, fighting Satan, which is like, where do you go from there? But like
Yeah.
when it first started, it was just like the monster of the week.
hmm
And like, Sam and Dean just were hunting down an evil scarecrow, or they were hunting down the woman in white, whatever it
hmm
was. Like that all day, but making an object of power, like I would play that forever.
Yeah, and I think you know what it reminded me of. You remember you played the original Half-Life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember like all like the goofy scientists that you'd run into and like something horrible would
Yes.
like happen to them? Like they would
Yes.
like
Yeah.
it kind of like
Exactly.
or Barney, the Barney the guard. Like it kind of reminded me of like that vibe where like this is really awful that's going something awful is absolutely happening, but like it's kind of funny too
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly. Yes.
And you like
Yeah.
meet all these like really great characters in the game. Like there's that scientist lady like working on like the spores and stuff in like
Yep.
underground,
Yep.
and she's really funny. I like
Well,
I like the Hope. I like the lady that's in like
yes.
the main area, and she's like a
Yep.
total nerd about everything.
Yep. Yes. Well, also you mentioned the janitor earlier also. I loved him.
Yeah.
Like that whole arc and then like he gives you the Walkman if you like track him
Oh
down
yeah.
when he's like going through paintings to go on like a kind of a I guess pseudo fishing trip whatever.
hmm
And he's like, you're just tracking this light and going into these paintings. And
hmm
then he's like, you should not have followed me here. He's no, I'm just playing. Here's my Walkman.
Yeah.
It'll help you. Like it's like,
And
and
then
then
no,
that
sorry, go ahead.
song. So you go, so that gets you through that fucking maze, which is also amazing.
Yeah.
But it plays the song,
hmm
and that song is on Spotify, by the way. You can add it to your liked songs list because I sure as fuck did.
Yeah,
And it's
that
the fucking band from Alan Wake. That's so dope,
I
dude.
know, like that is so cool that those old dudes. That scene in which you like I don't like you just like go through that Inception maze and you're just like
Mm-hmm.
fighting dudes and you got this music playing is like just a completely badass set piece that they threw in there.
Yeah, it's so it's just and, like it reminded me of like Halo 2 when you get like when you're going I don't know the correct terminology for like I guess you're on a Halo, but like you're going towards the Arbiter,
Uh-huh.
and it's the Steve Vai
Oh
music
yeah.
is playing while you're
Hmm.
whipping ass as Master Chief, dual
Yeah.
wielding SMGs and shit. So badass. So badass.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. That was a good time. Steve Vai was involved in video games, so
Right.
it feels like it was a century ago.
Yeah, I know, but
Uh, um, yeah, yeah, I think like how gleeful that scene too is, because it's like, oh, like this is like towards the end of the game. You kind
Mhm.
of expect like the difficulty to go up or things to get more serious, but like you kind of are in this like really fun, enjoyable like set piece of this, these moving
Well, it's like
floors and
this
everything.
is right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Like yes. The environment, but also like that. I don't know, man. Like just like I just felt like it was so badass to be like in the middle of this. It's not an easy fight. Like, and your environment is constantly shifting around you, right?
Hmm.
But I just felt like such a badass because I'm like, I'm fucking flying through the air, I'm flinging shit at people. And there's this fucking like, this almost like metal song playing like over it. Oh, it was so good. It was
Yeah,
so good.
it was it's it's just so it's just like a joy to play, right? Like I feel like
Hmm.
it's like a 12-hour game, but I had such a fun time with it. Um the characters are memorable, the set pieces are memorable.
Yes.
Um she's cool, everybody's cool. Like it's just just
It's just it's one of those like it's one of those lightning in the bottle kind of things where it's the perfect mix
mhm,
of scary and dark, but also like kind of lighthearted and funny and weird
mhm.
and horror and sci-fi, and it, it's just one of those experiences like I'll I just it's one of those things I'll never forget it. Like it's just like this is everything I like wrapped up into one thing,
Mhm.
and done almost flawlessly, you know.
Yeah.
But I can also laugh at it when I jump into a fucking cardboard box and get stuck on my feet and it's making a metal noise that I can't get out of it, you know? It's like,
They've been messing with physics since Max Payne 2.
yeah, right, exactly.
They, um and like too, like coming off of Quantum Break, you can kind of see how they were able to give you best of both worlds, right? Like Quantum Break
Mm,
had its foot heavy in the narrative part, right? Like this very
right.
linear storytelling with, great like combat arenas where you did have like powers and things, but Control gives you a lot more freedom and
Yes.
kind of like they
Yes.
learned I think a lot from Quantum Break in terms of like, how far is too far in terms of like, although I love Quantum Break, but I think that they really wanted more of an experience for the player that was something that they could mold to their like play style, and
Mm.
I think they did a really good
Mm.
job doing that.
Yeah, Quantum, yeah, not that this game isn't cinematic, but obviously the Quantum Break, the main focus was more on cinematics, and gameplay was like just what you did in between,
Yeah.
kind of.
Uh-huh.
Uh, this very much like it's not that. This is more. I mean, it is cinematic, like we talked about. It does have really good narrative, but this is more about just giving you uh, the set of powers and letting you just be a badass and like just have fun fucking people up.
Yeah. Just and then throw shit simulator. But also too like,
Mhm.
the constantly going back to that hotel or that motel and then having to figure
Ah,
out the
yeah,
little puzzles.
yeah, yeah.
Like, like there's ways that the game like constantly reminded you of sort of like the nature of the world that this was, where it was a world between worlds, with different pathways and things. And
Mm.
yeah, it's good stuff, man. I'm really hyped to play Alan Wake 2. I got it
Oh,
installed.
I can't wait. I'm so
I
ready
I
for
got
Alan
it
Wake 2.
installed, ready to go. I mean, I think we play the base game. I'm not gonna say try to get the DLC done as well, but I think one of the DLCs, from what I read, deals with Jesse Faden. So
Oh, sweet.
might be worth going into that a little bit.
Oh, I'm gonna
So
play all that. I've played none of it, so yeah,
I just
I'm
think
ready
that
for
yeah, I think just Alan
everything
Wake.
on that disc.
Yeah,
Like I'm
Alan
here
Wake 2
for
is
it.
a little longer, so um
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think it's like a 18-hour game or so.
Mm,
So um
gotcha.
yeah, but I'm excited to play that one. That was another one people were mad that there was a woman to play in it. Who's
Oh, okay. I know nothing about it other than
it's yeah, you it's not a spoiler, but you play as a FBI agent lady who's kind of
oh,
figuring out
okay.
like this whole Alan Wake situation.
Mm,
And you play for her like play you play as her for a good part of the game. Uh, and so
mm,
people were mad at that because I don't know.
mm.
I have no idea. I mean,
I don't know.
man, you
It's
just
not gonna
gotta
bother me. So
shine your flashlight at somebody. You gonna
yeah, it's
find
yeah.
Alan. Don't worry, get there. Um, so yeah, so I think to wrap it up, Control is my favorite so far. It's my
Hmm,
favorite
okay.
thing they've done, I think, as a whole. Um, I think just in terms of like in terms of playability, like Max Payne 1 will always have a special place in my heart. But I think
Mm,
but I think that like just in terms of entertainment of like as a package, I think Control is probably like my favorite thing they've done, and that so far. I hear that Alan Wake 2 might change that, but we shall see.
nice. Yeah, I'm still Team Alan Wake one or
Hmm.
whatever. Like I really I Quantum Break was also great. I got super into that, but
Hmm.
I think that for as much as I said like Control kind of encompassed like almost everything I'm into,
Hmm.
uh I don't know, man. There's something about Alan Wake. I loved it so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like playing Twin Peaks, dude. Like it's
That's what I'm saying. Like
so
Stephen
spoopy.
King and Twin Peaks, yeah, I'm
Hmm.
into it. Like
Yeah, I'm all about it.
because I was never an X Files guy, but I'm a big Stephen King guy, so I think that's probably where my like kind of more loyalty to Alan Wake lies.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, because Control is definitely like their more X-Files adjacent thing.
Hmm.
I also love about The Oldest House how like all the technology is like retro in it.
Yes.
I
Yep.
love that so
Yep.
much
Oh, I do too. I do too.
because they can't use
Like I
like,
said, the objects of power are so fucking cool too. So
but they
they're
like
all
can't
old school stuff.
they can't use like standard technology in there.
Hmm.
They have to use all
Hmm.
like retro stuff in order to like be safe.
Hmm.
So
Oh
good.
yeah. 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 Yeah.
Also, there's that fake out ending, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah. That was very good because they got me. I was like, no, that can't be.
I
Like,
know.
oh
They
yeah,
pull
they
a good
got
little
me.
trick on you. Yeah, it got me too. I was like, you gotta be kidding. I was like, did I get a bad ending? What happened? Uh,
That's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, what didn't I do? Like that can't be it.
did I not do enough side quests? Like, what happened?
Right, right.
Is this like some Silent Hill 2 thing that I did, or like what? Like, what happened?
Hmm.
Um, we'll be talking about Alan Wake 2 later this month. But that will bring us to the end of our Remedy discussion. And then I'm making Mitch pick the next thing. Put all the put
No, I
all.
thought we were gonna do we're doing OG Max Payne and Max Payne 2.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah. I thought maybe you take a look at your shelf and see if there's anything you wanted to
I mean
play.
I can, but I just assumed we were going straight into Max Payne and the fall of Max Payne, but we don't have to.
I mean, I would love to. I mean,
That's
that's
fine with me.
that's easy to do. Those games are short.
Yeah, and I already own. Well, thanks to you. Thank you again, by the way, for my birthday gift. But now I have both of them on the Xbox because
Yeah.
I had two on the Xbox, but I had one on PS2. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it's
happy to play
just
them.
the port on PS2 is it's not the best.
Yeah, it's just the only way I ever played it. You know.
Yeah, the Xbox version's closer to the PC version and because they
Gotcha.
actually cut stuff out of the PS2 version. It's kind of weird. It's like a
Oh,
whole yeah. And then like the second Max Payne 2 on PS2 is also super whack. There's like a lot of weird things they did.
well, yeah, that one I still have my original copy. I that one I only ever had on Xbox. So
Hmm.
I
And
still
plus
have
with
my original.
the backwards compatibility on the Series
Yeah,
X,
oh, hell yeah.
it
Hell
looks
yeah.
really they clean up real nice for you and looks
Well, just
you
that convenience alone, even if they didn't clean it up, like that's worth it to me.
know.
I don't,
Hmm.
because I'd have to hook up the PS2 if I was going to play it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's you get
This is like
that
the
same
Series
itch.
X is just right here in the living room. Like I'm good.
Yeah, you Gucci. And it's like, I don't know, you pop it in, it's like 4 gigs to download or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So when video games used to cost used to be the size of 4 gigs.
Right.
Installing Alan Wake, it was like, I don't
There
know.
was no install. You should play right off the fucking DVD, like or whatever. Like,
Yeah, but I installed Alan Wake and I think it was like, I don't know, it was like close to like 100 gigs or something.
oh yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to delete some shit on my Xbox.
Uh, anyway, thanks y'all for listening. Thank you, Mitch, for being here
Yeah,
with
man.
me on this last
I
day,
am.
the
Uh,
Ides of March. I don't know what the last day of March,
the
March 31st.
oh my god. Before we sign
Oh
off.
no, tomorrow's
Oh,
April 1st. The internet's gonna
it
be
is. Yeah, stay
insufferable.
off the internet tomorrow. Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
I hate it.
100%.
I hate it. I hate it so
I
much.
don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere near the internet
Oh,
tomorrow.
I
But
hate April 1st. It's the
yeah,
worst.
yep.
Anyway,
And
um,
you know, I will tell you one thing that's undoubtedly going to happen.
I'll tell you what.
I Is that what I sounded like?
No, not at all.
Was that my Alabama coming
No,
out?
no, 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 not at all.
Uh, I'm gonna have at least one person, and it's happened since for like I don't know 20 years almost at this point. Somebody's gonna send me a fake link to an announcement for Chrome Hounds 2.
Oh no.
It happens every year, dude, and it's not just the same guy. Like somebody is gonna send me a link tomorrow, a fake link to a Chrome Hounds 2 announcement.
It's not gonna be me, I promise. Mhm. I promise it won't
Now
be.
it is. It is. Like it's gonna be you this year.
Yeah. Y'all talking about Chrome Hounds? Oh my God, bro.
Gosh,
Um,
I was obsessed with that game.
it's a good game, man.
Hmm.
Um, Mitch, thank you.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you. Like I said, like this is not how I would have experienced these games if not for the show. So
Hell yeah, buddy. We making magic happen. You see an art in real time.
exactly. I'm like I if I had played more of Control with that before I got frustrated with the map and and they would have made an Alan Wake reference. I'd have been like, I remember that game, but like it
Now,
definitely would not have hit the way it's hitting now. Like
now it's
I'm so into this Remedy verse, dude. Like fuck the MCU. Like I want more Remedy verse. Like I
I want more Sam Lake. I want
yes,
daily Sam Lake videos.
and it's because of the show. So all the thanks go to you.
Hell yeah, buddy. Well, I just hope they put out a physical version of Firebreak. I don't think they will, but
Mm.
they didn't do it with Alan Wake for a year or so, or Alan Wake
Well, I
2.
was gonna say, they always say they're not going to, and then eventually, even if it has to be somebody like Limited Run stepping in, somehow they find a way. It's like Jurassic Park and shit.
Alan Wake 2. But it's also, I think Alan Wake 2 was published by, I'm pretty sure it was Epic. It was Epic Games who published it, and they're just insufferable. So
Yeah,
that's like Tim Sweeney and the Fortnite stuff.
right,
So
right,
I'm pretty sure they had maybe some restrictions for physical, but who knows?
right.
Um, that was it. That's it. That's it. We did great, y'all. We did great. Catch you on the flippity flip.